So there are the topics we have tonight, guys. So let's go on to our first topic. Will be Lawmaker defends legitimate rape. Here we go.
A pregnant woman to get the father's permission before an abortion is being pushed by one Missouri lawmaker. Our Garrett Hake joins us now. And Garrett, you have the only on-camera interview with this, what we will call now controversial lawmaker.
Yeah, Republican Rick Bratton's bill is also controversial, and his defense of it has been even more so. He told Mother Jones magazine rape victims would be exempted only if they could prove they were victims of, quote, legitimate rape. In our interview, he walked back that statement, but otherwise defended his proposed bill amid a growing uproar. At his home office in Harrisonville, Representative Rick Bratton said he wrote House Bill 131 to protect the lives of unborn children and the rights of their fathers.
With the women's movement for equal rights, well, it's swung so far that we've now taken away the man's right in the say of their child's life.
His bill, filed earlier this month, requires a woman to obtain the written, notarized consent of an unborn child's father to get an abortion. Abortion rights and women's health groups have skewered the proposal.
It's simply demeaning and degrading to women. We and most of the voters in Missouri believe that women can make their own decisions, both about their lives generally and about their health care specifically.
In a statement, Senator Claire McCaskill called the bill offensive and absurd. In our interview, Bratton held his ground. Do you see why some women might see that as offensive? That they might say, you know, what right does a man have to a decision about a woman's body?
Well, it's not a woman's body with an abortion. It's a child's body. It's a child's life that's taken. The woman's life is not altered.
Bratton did walk back his use of the term legitimate rape. He told us his proposed bill would not require women to prove they had been raped to be exempt from the consent requirement after all.
A rape is a rape, and if that occurs, it's horrible, and that's what the provision is provided in the language. So if it does occur, that by all means, if they seek that, then they can do that.
Bratton proposed this same bill last spring, but it died in committee. He said he expects a battle from what he calls the, quote, militant feminist movement, but that with GOP supermajorities in both chambers in Jefferson City, he's hopeful it will go much further this year. Reporting live, Garrett Hake, 41 Action News.
So there you have it, guys. Before we get on here, this is Paul's topic, and Paul, you can take over after this. But I want to know when Mr. Bratton is going to come up with some kind of follow-up bill, which would require all women to be clothed from head to toe and be escorted by a male relative or something like that, you know, in public. So no boobies, no camel toes. So, you know, like the Muslim faith. But Paul, go ahead.
I don't know.
Well, real quick, I'd like to say there would be a lot of camel toes, just not the kind you really want to see. Just like actual camel's toes, you know. If
like the true one, not the
It was a terrible joke. Just ignore me.
It was.
Rolling on. I think I don't know. I'm not an MRA. I think some of them have a good point about when it comes to the fathership thing, whether they want more input in it. But ultimately, I feel it's a woman's decision since it is her body, and she's the one carrying the fetus, not a fucking child yet, a fetus. So I think it should be ultimately up to the woman and her doctor, with the woman being the ultimate decision maker because it's her body. The problem, of course, with Missouri is that 97% of Missouri counties have no abortion clinics. So it's like they already have it really restricted in Missouri, and they're trying to restrict it even more to the point of insanity. And I have no doubt that this guy is using religious reasons and not any type of backlash against the radical feminists.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to smear it that way, but I think it's actually more religious reasons than that. Yeah, but he's trying to get people on his side using the MRA arguments.
Yeah, well said, Paul.
Yeah, did you say that was, what was it, 97%? The abortion clinic?
97% of Missouri counties had no abortion clinics, and that was in 2011. That's from the Guttmacher Institute.
What does that leave, like 1 or 2
It's like, yeah, it's like there. I think there's actually.
I think
like
Louisiana only has one left. Yeah.
There's only one clinic in Missouri, I believe, that actually performs abortions.
Well, here's where I take their argument.
I'm sorry, 5.
They like to call a fetus a child, right? And but how far back can you take it? Like from the moment of conception, or what about just before conception? Like it's going to happen, right? Oh, it could happen. So therefore, I mean, and then that you take it back to every sperm is sacred type of deal.
Yeah.
You know,
don't spill your seed in the Bible.
And in that case, like if every sperm is so sacred, then why do we just explode millions of them in order of the possibility of an impregnation or whatever? It doesn't seem very well designed. Yeah. Not so well designed in my book.
So there's a line
right next to the pussy, you know.
A little bit of slippage and a
you
lot
know.
of fucking
Well,
damage.
it's a little bit tempting, if you know what I mean.
Drew.
Yeah, I think because who was it before that did this legitimate rape thing? Was it Todd Aiken?
It was Aiken, definitely Aiken. Yeah, during the presidential elections or whatever.
Well, this whole idea of you have to, report the rape and there's the investigation and stuff like that. I think they overlook, like, I don't actually have the statistics, but I know that there are a lot of situations where women don't report their rapes for various reasons, whatever it is. They want to get over it, or whatever it is. I'm not saying they should do that, but this does happen a lot. And I think when it comes to women's reproductive rights, why should anybody else have any sort of equal legal say?
Yeah,
that's what's really upsetting about that.
Yeah.
But to tie it into what I was saying,
you have to draw a line. You have to draw a line. You can't say like you can have an abortion the day before someone's due to give birth or whatever. We can all a line is it can be drawn. Yeah, but I'm saying like so we do decide on what a woman does. It's just a matter of timing.
No. What I'm saying is that someone else should have equal legal say. This was saying in order for her to get an abortion. That's another thing I was going to ask about, if they even said anything about timeline, because I must have missed that, how far along in the pregnancy or whatever. But they're saying that the husband has as much say in that as the woman does, is what I'm saying.
Not husband. It doesn't matter the
man,
actual. Yeah, it doesn't actually matter the relationship, as long it's just whoever impregnated her, because it could be not the husband, it could be the mailman.
Yeah,
and then that gets into more fun with their legal system there, huh?
Yeah, it does. What I want to say here, and then we'll let John go here if he has anything to say, is I love when Bratton here stated that the woman's life is not altered. It's like, really, what the fuck? So if she has a medical condition or issues, have the baby. If she was raped, have the baby. If she's in college and trying to get her life on track, you know what I mean, where a baby would hinder that process, have the baby. We can go on here and give up plenty of examples on how this would alter a woman's life. So I would like to ask him the question, how would this not alter a woman's life if she had a child? I think that's a strong point to have. And
very, very strong point. And, you have to, I'm sure I've told you guys before, but maybe some people haven't heard. I was adopted.
Yeah.
So this is coming from a guy who very easily could have been aborted, and to me, I still have the presence of mind and the logic to understand that, like, if I had been aborted, I wouldn't have fucking known about it and whatever. And life is great or whatever, but that's what chances are. You know what I mean?
But look into that position again.
How many lotteries have I won in a row just by existing?
TJ, but look at that. Let's take his argument. If every baby was born, how many kids will be sitting waiting to get adopted? You know what I mean? Adoption is legal. They can get rid of their kid if they want. How many kids would not grow up with a good life like you had? You know what I mean?
I'm sure Michelle Bachmann can take in a few million more.
So could Madonna and Angelina Jolie. Of course, yeah, we can go that perspective.
But I mean, Michelle Bachmann does have she has a shitload of foster kids because I'm pretty sure her gay husband won't fuck her.
Yeah, and another thing I want to bring up before John goes here is he also stated we took away the man's right. What is this man's right? I don't get it. Is it to control the woman's life? I'm like, that's what it is. I'm like, we could talk about scripture. We could talk about the biblical claims where women are an inferior creation in the Bible. Is that what he's getting at? I'm sure it is, because he's apparently a right-wing nut job. So I just want to put that there. And do women have to give a man a written permission slip? You know what I mean? Does the man have to do that?
They actually had at one university. They said that
you can have an abortion now.
for like in each step. When you had to like, can I kiss you? Can I kiss your neck? Can I, bite your ear? Can I freaking take your shirt off? Can
Pretty sure that's California.
Yeah.
Can we move? Like,
Can I put my finger here? Oh,
can I
number
do this?
two, not
do
good.
you like this? Do you like it when I do this? Do you want me to stop? Like that.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
they put out a fucking a video in which they show a couple or two, a guy and a girl doing this shit, and like the way that they expect it to work, and it is so bad and awkward, and I really hope they were an actual couple and not just two actors, because it was so. Oh God, it was creepy. That way, I would, if I was an actor, like just seeing the ad or whatever it was, like left an impression on me that was like, yeah. And if I had actually been the person that had done that, I might turn gay after that shit. Not that would be a bad thing.
Good, John. You got anything to say on this, John?
Well, there's a couple things. He's trying to make human reproduction an equal thing when biology dictates that it's not equal. The women have to do carry the baby, the pregnancy to term. It's not an equal thing. The women are the ones dealing with the brunt of this thing. They're the ones that have to their body is the one that's being used, and they should have more, the final say. So I think that, I had a friend who has issues with being able to conceive a child, and he wants to have a child, but he hasn't to this day. And he found out his ex-girlfriend had an abortion without his knowledge. That was probably his only chance of having a kid. And I can understand, where he's coming from. He still says it was her right to do that. That's her decision. It's her body.
Yeah.
But man, I can really understand his frustration about that.
Well, look, I can.
Yeah.
I'm all about it talking
as far as the feminism angle goes, I mean, like they talk about wanting equality. Well, wouldn't equality be including the guy in the decision in the first place?
Yeah, and I think I think they're trying to go too far. Like they're trying to make it a forced legal thing instead of like, all right, you two talk it out.
Yeah, it's in like
come to a decision.
I'm all for that too. Yeah.
It's much better if the people actually discuss it amongst themselves, and they're not forced to do. It's like, hey, do you want to have this kid? No, well then you have to sign this before I can go in here and do this. And then they have ridiculous crap like you have to wait 72 hours and you have to do all this stuff before it can even happen. And all this, it's jumping through hoops, more hoops, more hoops, more hoops. Yeah. Thanks to you, Missouri.
That's another thing. Like when they widen the halls. Yeah. They're like, these, how wide are your halls? They're 3.5 feet. They have to be 3 5/8.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Another thing with this guy's rhetoric is there's no nuance. He's just declaring it unborn child. It's not the woman's body. Well, that's bullshit. I mean, the pregnancy, I mean, scientifically, medically, that's inaccurate to call it an unborn child. It's a fetus. It goes from a zygote, an embryo, to fetus. It's not a child until it's born, and to call it that is to kind of try to shift the conversation.
Well, it's emotional. It's emotional.
It's the same as calling like every sperm a unconceived child.
A potential child you're wasting. It's like, well, then fucking women should be what, like whipped every month? I guess because.
But not only that, but it's not. He says it's not the woman's body. Well, the fetus is physically attached. It's got the placenta and the umbilical cord. It is the woman's body. There's a connection there, and a very the woman's body is put through a lot during a pregnancy, and to force someone to go through that, to have another private citizen be able to dictate that happens to someone else, is a hell of a fucking thing, especially for the government to step in.
Exactly.
I'd make dark matter have my baby.
No, that's another interesting thing, is that it's conservatives that want this, the same people that are against big government. I mean, what's bigger than having the government in your vagina? You know what I mean?
It's a good point, Drew. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
I think dark matter just likes dead babies.
Well, here I am. After a certain point, I do think abortions are wrong. After a certain point of development, I mean, you have, like 5 months to make this decision. And after that, I mean, the baby is pretty developed. And I'd say at that point, it's a human being.
Yeah, if it can survive on its own.
Yeah. And what I like to think of is when, the brainstem starts developing, when the the spine and the spinal column, all that starts to develop, when you can actually, when it can actually process the sensations, and there's developed enough brain to process the sensations and know what the hell's going on. Because before that, it's like it's not human like we know it. It's just reactionary with no type of purpose behind it besides just the reaction of the cells until you get to the development of the brain where it actually controls the actual body, etc.
And I forget how many. I forget how many weeks. I forget how many weeks it is until the spinal cord and everything has actually feeling.
It's what most states have already. That's where they drew the line, and they start drawing it back more and more. Like my state had the you guys were talking about moment conception. Well, my state had the dumbass idea that you go by the date of the woman's last period, and you go 2 weeks before that, and that's the date. That's where you go from there. That's where you go for the weeks.
That's the starting.
That is so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, there's no fucking medical reason at all. Like, okay, you're gonna guess because 2 weeks before she had a period, before she even had sex. What the fuck?
It should start from when the woman started getting horny.
Life starts at erection.
Exactly. At an erection. That's the best way to put it. Erection, then conception, then they don't want it. They're like pro-life, and then they're okay with that kid being hungry because they don't want to help with school lunch programs, or they're okay with that kid going without care because they don't want to pay their taxes. Then they're okay with that kid fucking going off war and getting their limbs blown off or losing their lives.
That's a good point.
You mean the welfare queens, right?
They're okay if those kids grow up to be criminals that get put on death row and get put to fucking death because they're fucking pro-life. That's the fucking problem I really have with pro-lifers. That if you're really pro-life, you're against all that shit. Otherwise, you're just trying to put
against
a nice label on anti-abortion.
It's pro-life until you're born, because once you're born, then you don't give a fuck. It's all about the unborn child for some reason.
Once it's born, it's like whatever happens to that child, whatever. we just care about whatever's in woman's pussy, whatever.
I mean, this is the best line from Carlin ever, right? The best line ever is from Republicans. They're all about the child. You're preborn, you're good. Once you're preborn, you're all right. It's all about the preborn. Once you're preschool, you're on your own. You're fucked.